What ramifications do you envision from college football players now potentially feeling empowered to spark change on a variety of fronts,
Yeah.
including possible compensation? You touched on this the other day.
Yeah, well, I think this is America. I think this is one of the greatest countries. I think it's the greatest country, personally. And we've got a right to make statements. We have a right to protest. We have a right to boycott. We have a right to do all kinds of things, you know. And if there's an injustice of some kind or something that needs to be changed, I think when it's done the right way, it could be very effective. So I think it's true of our student athletes, of students in general, of people in general. I mean, it's just the way our country works, and I think it's good.
James Deloach had some big plays the other day.
He did.
He's a guy that's kind of come on, and
He did.
obviously he was only one of those four who was caught up in that thing a couple springs ago that's still here.
Yeah, I forgot
Did you ever
about
have
that.
any doubt that he was a guy who was going to be able to get past that? And stick
Oh,
around
yeah, I
for
didn't.
his
I
career?
mean, he made a foolish mistake. All those guys did. It was not the worst thing in the world that ever happened, but it was not wise and certainly wrong. But you know, once they go through their discipline, and if they learn from it, it's a very good thing. And the funny thing about Deloach, we're trying to decide on who to name captain this last game, and he was one of the candidates, and so I can't remember what the deciding factor was, but we decided to make him captain going into that game, and then he plays the best game of his life, so we named him captain again, hoping he'll do it again. So we'll name him captain again if he plays good like that. But anyway, it was good to see him, you know, just really show up and make some big plays, and like you say, overcome some of the obstacles early on.
But you know, rivalries, and we've talked many times about Georgia has so many, seem to carry special significance, and certainly this game does. But obviously, it hasn't gone well this year against rivals. Does that turn up the heat as you keep going, and you got another rival, and people are out there keeping count?
I really think they have a life of their own. I'm not keeping track of which rival games we won or didn't win. I guess you all do, but I don't. They're all big to me.
Is Reggie Davis gonna be good to go?
Yeah, Reggie's fine.
Is everything okay with Abram? I guess he had to get checked out by a trainer during practice.
I didn't see that. I didn't hear anything.
So he's-
Ron would, if something big happened, he would tell me walking off the field, so I'd be surprised if there was something big.
Coach, one thing you mentioned the other night, I believe it was on the call-in show, you talked about Jeb Blazevich and kind of how he's battling some tired legs. Can you kind of
Yeah.
go a little bit further into that, like what exactly he is dealing with in terms
I
of?
think he's fine now, but
Okay.
from camp, I think everybody gets a little dead-legged in camp, and then, you know, once we break out of camp and we start going with the one-a-days, and it was, really, it was, I say camp, there's a lot of volume during that time, but his legs got tired like a lot of them, and then, you know, usually everybody got revived. We had 2 or 3 days off somewhere in there, and everything started to come back, but it just seemed like he was struggling with getting his legs back. And I think there might have been a little ankle sprain in the middle of that as well. So he just wasn't running as good as we've seen him run before. It seemed like he was just laboring a little bit. But now he's fine. But there was a stretch early in the season where we're like, come on. I mean, we didn't think it had nothing to do with effort. Probably to do with that he gave so much effort every single day that he washed out a little bit, and then didn't recover as quick as we would hope.
Do you know about when it was, when you kind of saw him start to come out of that a little bit?
2-3 weeks maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
How much do you think tempo is going to be a factor Saturday for the defense?
Well, we are used to getting lined up pretty quick. I think we'll get lined up. I think you know, Coach Pruitt is really good at getting calls in quickly and getting everybody ready to go. But did you watch that game last week? you know, you can just see how fast they go. I mean, it is like breakneck speed. And when they start having a little success, no matter how ready you are for it, it's like bang, bang, like you're getting these punches, and you're not having any time to recover in between. You gotta go to the next one, go to the next play, go to the next play. And that's the mentality that you have to have. You've got to have a super short memory because you do have to play the next play. And if you don't, and you let the last one beat you by not getting lined up or just missing one gap. You miss one gap, and a lot of what they're doing, you know, is pounding that ball. A lot of teams that's, like I was saying before, a lot of teams that spread and go fast, they're throwing, they're this and that. But when you run that ball, if you don't get your gaps just right, they're gonna hit a big one, and you see it all the time. And then you know, just strategically, Coach Malzahn, if he wins the toss, he's taking the ball. He wants the ball. He wants to go fast. He wants to knock it down your throat. He wants to take momentum immediately. So that's important for us to play good defense.
Last question.
Coach, Kentucky's scoring defense is pretty low in the SEC, and Auburn's actually last. Giving up more points than anybody else. Is it kind of refreshing after playing so many good defenses to play two teams like that?
Oh, what a loaded question that is. Here's what I say. Auburn was giving up about 30 points a game. And if you go strictly by the stats, now I will say ever since Carl Lawson's been back, they've been giving up 18 points a game, which would put them one of the best in the league. And from what I saw the last couple of ball games, you know, that's what you got to kind of gauge where they are, in my opinion, where they are is playing really good defense and playing stinking good offense too. And of course I don't know if I mentioned this to the group, but they're kicking units. They've only had 10 kickoffs returned on them. They've only had 4 punts returned on them all year. 14 returns all year is the best in America. So their special teams have done very well. Their kick return team, they're second and third in the league as far as the individuals that return kicks. And I think they're 4th in America in kick return. So, you know, if it becomes a field position game, and the way they're playing defense now, it's going to be a battle royal is what I think. All right.
Thank you.